Hello and welcome to this parent resource video on Math Connections at Home. Our goal in education is to not only help your students learn the content that they need in the school building, but also to see the connections in their real life and at home. My name is Dr. Katie Breedlove, and I currently have the privilege of working for the Henry County school system in their Title I department. As always in Henry County Schools, we want to anchor our information with what we call the compass for the future. This was a set of beliefs, actions, and policies that all work together to create the streamline to our priority outcomes. This information was created not only from our school board, but also from community members just like you. So today we're going to look at two of our important little details. Our core belief number 2, which is family and community involvement is critical to student success. And strategic action number 3, community and stakeholder engagement so that all students, families, and employees feel welcome and valued. We welcome and value your contribution to the lives of our students. And you watching this video, it shows your dedication and your deliberate actions in the best interest of your students. We always like to have a learning target, so this is our 2 goals for today's session. So first, we're going to explore why math is important in all areas of our students' lives. And we're going to identify some specific strategies that can be done in the home to create a math-rich environment for our students. Okay, so I want us to look at some of these classrooms. What looks different? Okay, so reflect for a second. What do you see that's different in these 2 classrooms? I remember those classrooms on the left-hand side, that was considered a nice, orderly, well-behaved classroom. That's when you knew instruction was truly happening. But on the right, that's what our classrooms look like today. If you are not prepared for the noise, the controlled chaos that's going on in our classrooms, that's what's happening, okay? But that's how our students know and learn how to collaborate with each other, how to have open discussions. Many of us learned mathematics as a set of disconnected rules, facts, and procedures. But the challenge is to foster that problem-solving skill set. And that's what's happening in our classrooms nowadays all across the district. So let's take a second and let's challenge ourselves a bit. So what you're looking at on your screen, this is called a Challenge 24 card. That means that all 4 of these numbers can be put together into 3 different expressions. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, but it will always come up with the answer 24. So feel free to pause and try to figure it out on your own. Don't worry, I'll give you the answer. Okay, so I hope that you took a moment to challenge yourself. So I'm going to give you the 3 steps that will get me to 24. So in Challenge 24, in the real game, we always start with our last step first, but that's a small detail that's really not necessary for this. But I am going to get myself to 8 times 3 equals 24. So looking at these 4 numbers, 6 minus 4 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 times 3 is 24. You notice in the corner there's 1 little dot. That means this card is worth 1 point. Now, we're going to challenge ourselves to do a 3-dot card. So there's 1, 2, or 3 dots. And this flexible thinking is what's going to help our students really become fluent in their math skills. So again, there are 3 different equations that will get us to 24. So feel free to pause and challenge yourself a little bit. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with my last step first. This one again gets me to the equation 8 times 3 equals 24. Okay, you ready? Let's see how I got there. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 minus 7 is 8. 8 times 3 equals 24. That was really difficult, right? it took a lot of different sides of our brains. It felt like we were kind of exercising something that's not normal. We need our students to be so comfortable with being uncomfortable that that they're ready for anything. And that's what activities like this kind of help us with. So why do we really have to change? Let's take a look at this comic. Or when I grow up, I'm going to invent a time machine. Oh, I'm sorry, invent a machine that will eliminate all math work. And then the adult kind of looks at him, the kid looks frustrated, and then the adult says, well, you'll need math for that. And then the child is frustrated all over again. Our students have been trained that they don't like math. They've been told that that's an option, but math is everywhere. Let's take a look at some of the top 10 most in-demand jobs of 2024. So I'm going to take a second. I'm just going to click through some of these, and I will chime in a little bit. You see the rank, the job, the average salary, and the number of new jobs in 2024. So that's this year. Take a second and just reflect over those. What skills are needed for these different positions? You'll see a wide variety of positions that need college degrees and some that don't. I do want to point out that number 4, a light truck driver, that does not require a college degree. And some of the details cited in that article linked below, some of the details that employers are looking for is how can they handle situations under pressure? Do they pay attention to details? Are they dependable? That number 1, market research, that is somebody that is analyzing graphs. They look at the data and they research a bunch of different platforms to inform decisions on trends and perceptions. Some of those qualities include, are they analytical? Do they have strong communication skills? How are they in critical thinking? And are they detail-oriented? So that position, that's the number 1 most in demand right now. And with a bachelor's degree, so this one does require some college education. With a bachelor's degree, it starts at about $66,000 a year. So looking at these jobs, we have to think to ourselves, okay, so we know when we go to the grocery store, when we go to Target, half of the registers are now self-checkout. So things that a computer can do someday, it will do. So we need our students to be flexible thinkers, to be able to communicate, to be able to argue their point of view respectfully, and evaluate the thinking of others. We need those types of students, and that's exactly what math is moving towards nowadays. So let's look at this quote. Means so much to me. There's a tendency, this is from Eastaway and Askew, there's a tendency for adults to label the math that they can do, such as identifying patterns, choosing between competing offers in a supermarket, and challenging statistics published by the government, as common sense. So as an adult, typically we disregard all that stuff and labeling everything that they can't do as math, so that being bad at math becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's why students, that's why it's okay for students to be similar to this comic when they say, I had a doctor do a DNA blood analysis, and as I suspected, I'm missing the math gene. We make it okay for our students not to be good at math because math is the hard stuff. But in reality, math is in everything. So what can I do to support my student at home? So let's go through just a few suggestions. So the first thing you can do is you can play. That's right, games like dominoes, chess, any card game, any dice game, Mancala, Yahtzee, Scrabble, and so many more. All of the old school game night stuff. They all develop strategic thinking, And the scorekeeping develops mental math computation that will benefit all students. And of course, it's so much fun to do it. Next, get your students active in the home. So as adults, we manage a home. We know the complex multitasking that's required. Getting students involved in the home not only relieves us as the adults from some of that stress, but it will also require students to begin thinking about tasks from multiple perspectives. So let's go through a couple of the typical chores that you might have around your house, and let's think about what is the benefit. So doing the dishes, okay? One of my least favorite jobs, doing the dishes. Loading the dishwasher takes some creative problem solving, fitting everything in, and spatial awareness. Students have to know that there are certain ways you can put certain pots to make it all fit. Okay, what about cooking dinner? Okay, if you've ever cooked a big meal for a holiday, time management is a necessity. So all of those measurement skills, the time management, the making sure you have all of the appropriate ingredients, all of that is mathematical thinking. What about the grocery shopping? Finding the best deal is a skill that we all kind of develop the hard way when we're spending our own money. But now as the adult, you can help your student to answer some of those questions. Which one's the better buy? This pack of water is this price, but it only has 24 bottles, whereas this one is this price and it holds 32 bottles. Not to mention, if you are planning your route around the grocery store so that you're not overlapping the same lanes over and over again, that takes some real mathematical thinking as well. And then finally, what about cleaning your room? I have 2 children, and I would love for them to just sit down and clean their room. All of that sorting and organizing is all mathematical thinking. Okay, finally, just talk to your kids. There's so many math opportunities around us all the time. So on your screen, you see an image from a website called Math Anywhere. And it's a great website that has like a bank of all these photos of just normal everyday things to start conversations. So I'd like you to take a second and just answer the question, how many do you see? Yeah, I know that's a vague question. How many what? But that's the point. That's how the conversation is going to get started. Maybe you see 3 sets of mailboxes, or you see 2 large mailboxes on the bottom right corner. This helps our students to see that there are always numbers around us. Whenever myself and my 2 personal children are sitting at a restaurant waiting for our table, we play a game called Counting I Spy. That's when we all go around and find 1 of something. Then we all go around and find 2 of something. But you'll see that sometimes you have to be very specific. So for example, if I said something like 4 mailboxes across the top, well, then one of my children could say, no, there's 6 mailboxes across the top. And I have to justify, okay, let me be more precise, because that's one of our mathematical practices. Let me be more precise. There are 4 mailboxes across the top of the right set. Those kind of conversations are going to help our students to be able to quantify their environment. So I'm sure you're like, okay, well, this is great. I can play. I can get my kids to do some chores and help around the house, and I can talk to my kids. But what if I, as an adult, need some more information? So, of course, your schools all have amazing professionals that will help you and assist you. They are great, and they are there to answer all of your questions. But there's a few other things, and the QR codes on your screen will take you right there. First is the Make Mathematics Count Georgia. So this is a partnership from the Georgia Department of Education and Georgia Public Broadcasting, GPB. And it's a special series of videos for all the different grade levels. And it is supposed to support parents with the understanding and the expectations of what's being taught in each one of those grade levels. Videos and support guides are offered, and there's a lot of great resources in there as well. Then in the middle, Those are the Georgia Department of Education parent letters. Did you know that there's a letter just for you for all of the different grade levels? So that will give you an outline of what the expectations are for each grade level. And then finally, on the right-hand side is a document that I created based on some other information I've found and I've used, and that is parent suggestions for supporting math learning at home. This will include, based on the grade band, elementary, middle, and high school, but feel free to go back and forth to another grade band if you think that's a good fit for your student. It'll include questions to talk to your students about, questions to ask the teachers, as well as what kind of manipulatives or resources do you have around the house that would be helpful for your child. So these are all resources for you as the adult. So I hope today has given you just a little bit of a preview of some math connections that you can find in your home and within your real world environment. Our goal is to help our students be the best mathematicians they can be. And for us to all remember, you're not bad at math. You just are looking at it a little bit differently. So keep on practicing. Thank you and have a great day.